Hi guys, what's up? My name is David and welcome back to my channel. So I have good news. From this week I can finally start uploading regularly again because I have finished all my schoolwork. Yay! So last week I finished my beautiful thesis, which is fun. It's not that thick because it's only my bachelor's thesis. If you are new here, I just finished my bachelor's degree in Scandinavian studies, but I'm not done yet because this thing is not graded yet, and I will hear about this in the next 1 or 2 weeks. So I'm just waiting for one more grade, which is kind of like the most important one in my bachelor's career, until I can finally have some free time. But even that is not very free because I have a lot of preparation for my master's program. Again, if you don't know anything about me, I will be studying Viking and medieval Norse studies at Háskóli Íslands, the University of Iceland in Reykjavik. So I have a lot of preparatory reading work to do, but it does mean that I don't have any strict deadlines or anything anymore, and I can finally focus a bit on my own stuff like this channel. And since I will still be in the Viking stuff for the next few years, if not the rest of my life, I will have enough stuff to talk about here. So before I get into specific topics again, I want to again say a bit about what I've been doing these past few weeks, because it's all relevant to what I do here and it's brought me some new ideas. So first, I finished my thesis. I made a separate video about the topic, but now that I've done and I've actually written this, I can say more about what it contains. So I analyzed the exhibition of the Viking Museum in Stockholm, which is like a commercial tourist information center, and I looked at specifically the text that they present in their exhibition to see whether the information they provide is accurate, and specifically how they present myths about the identity of the Viking, because their motto is where myth meets truth, and they aim to present things that people might think about the Vikings based on information available in popular culture that may not correspond with what archaeologists and historians think about the Viking Age. So that was very interesting to do, and it is something that I would like to continue doing in my life, because I am personally very interested in how the Viking Age is used and misused in post-Viking Age times, so from the medieval period up to the 19th, 20th, 21st century. And that's why I am continuing Viking-related studies, and that's why I have this channel. Which brings me to another thing that I've done recently. So I was a speaker at a Viking-themed event in Rotterdam, and I got to present a small lecture on the myth of the horned helmets, because for some reason people still think people in the Viking Age wore horns on their helmets, when they in fact did not. And I presented a bit of the historical background of the 19th century and how that all came to be. I have a separate video about this topic as well. Go watch that if you're interested. And I also got to do an introduction to a film called Útlægin, which is a filmed version of Gísla Saga Sursonar, so the saga of Gisli Surson. And why I'm saying this is that this channel is not the only place where I do this stuff, but it's like genuinely what I do in my life. It's like kind of what I work with and what I want to continue working with later, because I'm just starting. I'm not even officially finished with my bachelor's degrees, and I'm 20 years old. And what's interesting is that I used to be very scared of public speaking. I did participate in poetry competitions when I was younger, but that was in front of a very big audience where you don't see any particular people at once looking at you directly. So it's like you're talking into a void. So that was fine. And actually that poetry competition made it possible for me to find my university, because one time I won and I got to visit the Slavic department of the University of Amsterdam, because it was a Polish poetry competition in the Netherlands. And then a few years later, I actually returned as a student to that same university, only Scandinavian studies. So it's interesting how it's all connected. But what I wanted to say is that this YouTube channel, I started this in 2022, I think, with the aim of regaining my skill in actually talking in front of an audience. And you might think that, well, I don't see anyone. Well, I do see myself, which is already someone looking at me, but I also know that what I present here will be seen by a bigger audience, and sometimes that is not a lot of people, and sometimes that turns out to be thousands of people that all have something to say about what I just said. And so it's great exposure therapy for my anxiety, and I also get to talk about things that I enjoy. So I'm really grateful to have gotten this experience, because it makes me able to take it further and like actually apply to help on actual real life events and speak about things that I know about that people might want to learn about. So that being said, I have really missed making videos more regularly in these past few months, but I simply did not have the time, and I did have to prioritize schoolwork. But now that that is all coming to an end, I want to start talking more about like actual Viking age related topics again. And since I have to read a lot of sagas in the coming few months, since my study will be concerning medieval literature a lot, I want to look at some saga related stuff if anyone is interested. I want to continue talking about Viking age related stuff in the 21st century, in the 19th century, the 20th century. And if you guys have any specific requests or specific topics that you would like to hear more about, then just please let me know in the comments. And yeah, feel free to just tell me anything you'd like to hear, and I will take that into consideration. I'm also moving to Iceland in a month and a half, so you gotta enjoy this beautiful background that I've curated during COVID while it lasts, because I am moving out of this house, and you will see it again once in a while, but it will be missing from my channel. And for me, this is like a key element of my videos, but you know, all things must come to an end. But my activity here definitely will not. I will stay here and I will continue talking about stuff, and I hope you guys enjoy that. Thank you for watching, and this time I'll really see you next week. Bye bye.